All right, so welcome to Hebrew. Today's the day that we take a look at some homework for chapter 6. And we also, Lord willing, should begin looking at chapter 7 materials. So let's see. I don't think that, no, did we get to read the vocab words for chapter 6? I don't think we did we? Let's read them together, and that way we can maybe make a few comments here. I'll give you a little quiz. I'm just teasing about this, but there are some interesting things here, and I'll be curious to know if you can tell why some of these forms are irregular. Okay, so the first word is adama. Say that with me, adama. Adama. Adama is ground or earth. It sounds like Adam, doesn't it? You see the same root letters here. So Adam is Adam, man. Adama, ground, earth. We have what kind of a shava is this right here? Compound. It's a compound shava, isn't it? And it has, as part of it, the pathak. And so sometimes when people pronounce this, you'll hear the A sound, adama, adama. Or sometimes the compound shava is so reduced in the pronunciation of someone that it does come out like a regular vocal shava, adama, adama, adama. Okay, so it's not really important to me how you pronounce it as much as that you know that that's not a full vowel there. Now the next word is anashim. Anashim, say that with me, anashim. Anashim. Anashim is men. Men. And so what is the singular of anashim? Ish. Ish. Why do you think he labels this as irregular?
Because im should just be the ending.
Yeah, normally to make something plural you just add im if it's masculine. And so you would think that the plural of ish would be ishim. Ishim. But it's not. It's anashim. Anashim. Okay? And when we get to chapter 7, we're going to learn about how to make nouns plural, and this will be abundantly clear to you. Next, we have the word for houses, and that's batim. Batim. Now there's two things about this word that make it irregular. One is comparing it to the singular, which is what? Bayit. Okay. So what we're seeing here is that the yod of bayit is missing, right? But there's one other thing that makes this irregular. And I'll rewrite it over here. And let's think about this for a minute. So im makes it plural. What kind of dot is this in the bet here? Dagesh lene. How do you know that? First of all, it has to be in what kind of a consonant? Begat kafet consonant, right? And then secondly, there's no vocal sound noise before it. Great. Now, is tav a begat kafet letter? Yes, it is. So that must be a dagesh lene, right?
No.
Oh, that's a dagesh forte. You sure?
Yes.
Okay. I have a vowel before it, but it's still here, right? So dagesh forte. Okay. When I have a dagesh fortes always do two things. They close one syllable and open the other syllable. So in dividing, I'm going to swoop over and grab my doubling dot and write the letter C there for closed. And the final part, the second tav, kirik yod mem, is closed. Where's my stress? It's on the final syllable, so that's going to be stressed on team. That means that this is pre-tonic here, right? And if I have a closed syllable that is pre-tonic, that means it's closed and unaccented. And I have a rule in Hebrew called the kus rule, and that tells me closed, say it with me, closed unaccented syllables require a short vowel. Well, what might you assume then that this symbol is? If it's closed and unaccented, it has to be short. It's kametz ketuf, right? But did I pronounce it botim? I did not. I pronounced it batim. Batim, because that's how you pronounce it. So this is not following my kus rule, is it? There's a method here this little meth egg is trying to tell us that there's something weird here, that this is to be pronounced as a full A, long A vowel, okay, in a closed syllable that's unaccented. So it is batim. So that's irregular. It's irregular in two ways now. It's not bayatim, but batim, okay? So we do every now and then have a few anomalies. That's one of them. Next, we have gan. Gan, so this is garden. What kind of dagesh is in the gimel here of gan? That is a lene. Very good, dagesh lene. Derech. Derech is road or way. What kind of dagesh is in the dalet here? Lene. What kind of shava is in the final kaf? Silent. And notice that when I have a silent shava in a final kaf, it's not down here where the other vowels are, right? See that? It doesn't show up way down here. Now, sometimes in the past, my printer has put those dots down there, okay? But they're really supposed to go up higher. So just be aware that in final kafs, the silent shava is going to be higher than you might expect it to be. Okay, now I have an M and an F marking the gender for this word derek, okay? I think we talked about this, didn't we? Normally, feminine singular nouns have what for their ending? Did we talk about this?
No.
Okay. We're going to see this in the next chapter. A final comet's hey frequently marks a noun as grammatically feminine. Ish, masculine. What's a feminine ish?
Isha.
And isha. That's right. Okay? And it's got the comet's hey at the end. But we do have some nouns that are feminine that don't have the comet's hey. Ear is one of them. And that's one of our new vocab words here, right? That's feminine. And the reason he's giving you the F here, the F here, right, is because you would expect this to be masculine if there's not a comet's hey, and so he's wanting to signal to you, okay, I know it looks masculine because masculine nouns typically have no ending, but this is a feminine noun, okay? So over here, he's got an M and an F for masculine and feminine. Derek looks masculine because there's no comet's hey ending. But there are some places in the Hebrew Bible where the native speaker appeared to be uncertain whether this word was grammatically masculine or feminine, and so uses feminine forms along with it, okay? So just be aware, most of the time you can tell which gender a noun is, but there are a few where the Hebrew speakers might have used both genders, or might have understood it as being possibly either gender. All right? Here's the word yeled. Say that. Yeled.
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 So this is the word child. And so your cute little memory device for this is that, you know, when you've had a bad day with your child, you yell at him. Right? I yelled at my child. Okay, nashim. Nashim is women. Women. Now take a look at this. We have anashim up here and nashim. They look almost the same, don't they? The only difference between these two is that anashim has a little bit of extra lettering at the front, right? Nashim, shorter. So, let me not be accused of being sexist here, okay? But I would say that as a general rule, men are taller than women, right? Or if you put them end to end this way and compared their height, okay? Usually, here we'll make sure that they are relaxing here. Inch for inch, on average, a man is taller than a woman, and bigger, heavier, whatever. And so if you can just remember the generalities, I know there are about a billion exceptions, but still, hey, a billion compared to 6 billion in the world, right? We're still dealing with generalities here. This is a longer noun than the feminine form, right? So, okay, good. Then we have ra'av. Ra'av is hunger or famine. Okay, we said this one earlier, but we'll say it again. Ear. is a city. The plural of ear is arim. Arim. Now, field or country, sadeh. Sadeh. What kind of a dot is this? Is this seen or sheen? Seen. Okay, good. I always think of the singer. You know, there was a singer or a group called Sadeh. Is anybody old enough to remember that? That was back in the 80s. Okay. Sadeh doesn't have the staying power of Elvis, I guess. By the way, you guys know who Legolas's favorite singer is? You know who Legolas was, right? Lord of the Rings? It's Elvis Presley. Yes. You knew that was coming, didn't you? Okay, Elvis Presley. We didn't do any transliterations for the A section, so hip hip hooray, right? But I did ask you to translate these into Hebrew, and in order to do this, you have to go back and get the noun as a vocab word. Then you have to add the article, and the article, well, the article's a little bit problematic in this chapter, isn't it? But one thing we know, what will the article always have when you write the article? The hey. And then there has to be one of three vowels that go under the hey, right? What are my possibilities? Okay, so the hey will either take a pathak, or a kametz, or a segol, right? I know one of those three has got to be the form of the article. And then I get to put a dagesh forte here under in the consonant, first consonant with the pathak, if I have a consonant that's not a weak consonant, and gutturals are always going to cause problems for us, right? So we want to just be careful here, because some of these nouns begin with gutturals and some of them don't. So if they don't, you don't have to do anything funny with it. Just add your standard vowel pointing. Hey, pathak, dagesh forte. All right? So, any questions about these B section phrases that you translated? Tell me about your problems. We're going to do some group counseling now. Group therapy. Number 3, the garden.
Yeah. So I added the article for but on the answer key, the gimel turned into I guess a long A vowel.
Yes.
I don't really understand why.
Yeah. Let's take a look at that real quickly. So, when you find this in your vocab list, gone is spelled that way, right? What kind of vowel is that? That's pathak. Is that long or short?
Short.
It is a short vowel, right? Good. So I add my article. So hey, pathak, doubling dot, right? That's now a dagesh forte. Is there any reason why this pathak has to lengthen? Or do anything weird? Is gimel a guttural? It's not, is it? Nothing guttural about it. So it's perfectly fine, right? And so my hey, pathak, doubling dot, all of that is the normal article, so nothing funny here. This is where we got the funny business, right? And this is simply the situation where if you go to Ross chapter 6, point 3, he gives you 5 scenarios where there are issues. Excuse me. What page is this? This is 65, page 65. And in the first 4, they're all problems with the article doing funny things. The article changing the vowel under the article hey. The article not being able to put its dagesh forte in the first consonant of the noun that it's being added to. But section number 5 under 6.3 is not an article problem. It is a problem with the first vowel of the noun. We have situations where the vowel of the noun, the first syllable of the noun, the vowel is going to change. Okay? He gives us 3 examples. In the first, he gives us 4 examples. In the first 3, the article's vowel became a long A, and the first vowel of the noun became a long A in what looks like harmonization. Okay? But for the 4th example under that section, the vowel became a long A, but the article's pathak did not. So it's long, but not because of harmonizing. We really don't know why we're getting a long A here, but that really doesn't matter. The only point here is that this is one of those situations where my noun changes its form slightly when I add the article. Okay? The article itself is very normal with the garden. On the other hand, if you look, it's 3, 4, and 5, and 6. These are the 4 that are part of that 6.3 number 5 issue. So the earth, let me, I'll just go down over here. What's the normal way to write earth? Eretz, right? And that's spelled with the double segol, right? But when I add the article, hey, it's ha, eretz. I try to put a doubling dot there. Will the aleph take it? No. He's a guttural. The preceding article's vowel compensatorily lengthens from a short A pathak to a long A called kametz. And so the article has changed, but then I also get an issue of the noun's vowel changing to harmonize with that long A. And when it does, the segol no longer is segol, but kametz. Okay, it matches the kametz. So I have ha aretz. Okay, so that's what you should have for number 4. All right, and the same thing happens with the mountain and the people. I get short vowels, pathak, that change to long kametz under the first consonant of the noun. And I'm happy to look at any of those if you want, but I won't work through them unless you want me to. Are there any other questions, or do you want me to work through those? I'm happy to do whatever is helpful to you. This is your time. You're paying customers. Yeah, go ahead,
Number
Leslie.
8, I was trying to figure out because the first for wisdom it's a head. I was trying to figure out why the article didn't need to change to kametz.
Ah, okay. Good question. Here, let's take a look at that for a minute. So, what is the word wisdom? Is it ha or ho? Ho, right? Chokmah. So that shiva is silent. And you know that simply by looking to the right, don't you? Can you tell by looking to the right that that's a short O or a long A? No, you have to look where? You have to look to the left and ask yourself, is there a metheg here, right? If there is no metheg, it's a short O, which makes it a kametz ketuf. And if there is a metheg, it's a long A, and that makes it a long A kametz, right? So that's the short O. That means that the shiva is silent, right? So this is chokmah, chokmah, chokmah. Now, we add the article. Hey, pathak, doubling dot. That's what we want to do, right? Gutturals don't take no dagesh from anybody, so it rejects the dagesh. And then there's 2 strategies, right? The preceding vowel could either become a kametz, or it could stay a pathak. It could even go to a segol, right? And I didn't tell you that you had to memorize when it does that. So I didn't expect you to memorize it and be able to do it in your homework without looking. But what you want to, if you want to know when it does one versus the other, the issue here is it's under 6.3, it's number 1. If your word begins with a chet or a hey, dagesh forte is omitted and the vowel under the article remains pathak. So look at that. Is chet one of those two? Yes. Hey or chet rejects the dagesh, but the pathak stays pathak. Okay? You don't put the dagesh forte here, but it is an implied dagesh forte. That is to say, we're going to treat and pronounce that chet as if it were doubled. It's virtually doubled or implied, but you can't write the dagesh forte in it. Okay? So it looks open, but it's really being treated like a closed syllable. The ha-chokma. Ha-chokma. Okay? So that's why. It's when you have ayin, if ayin, resh, or aleph, so I'll put that here, ayin, resh, or aleph, if those are the first consonant, then they will frequently get a compensatorily lengthened kametz vowel under them. Before them, under the article hay's hay. Okay? And that's why, for example, in haaretz, right, we do see that long a vowel under the hay. All right, other questions?
I have a question on that one. So for the article, since it's the propertonic, do you need a method on it? Or is it fine?
You don't, because where you get the metheg, you'll see the metheg in syllables that are open, right? Or if you have a you have a compound shava right after the vowel, and still in those cases it's open. You don't see methegs in closed syllables.
So that one's closed because it's
Yeah,
implied.
it's closed because it's we're implying doubling here.
Okay.
Right. Now over here, let me go back. Haaretz, this is pretonic, right? So you won't see a metheg over here. But if you had, here, the word for the famine, okay? What's the word for famine? This is one of our new words. Ra'av. Ra'av. And I wanted to say the, I'm sorry, that's down here. If I wanted to say the famine, I would do hey, pathak, doubling dot in the resh. Can I leave it like that? No. Resh is part of the guts gang, right? He rejects the resh. And resh is one of the ones that cause compensatory lengthening in the preceding vowel under the hey. So now where's my stress on this word? Ha-ra. It's on the last syllable, right? The stress is way over here. And so this open propertonic syllable, you will see a metheg frequently to tell you not to reduce it, right? You're far enough away from the tone where it would be very easy to reduce that to a vocal shava, and this ensures that you don't reduce it. Ha-ra'av, ha-ra'av. Okay? All right. Any other questions about the B section here? If I can have you direct your attention to the word for houses. It's the houses. So which form of house do I have to write? Bayit or batim? Batim. Okay, so I just go and find my vocab word, and it's going to be spelled like that, right? Batim. And what kind of a dagesh is this under the bet? In the bet? Dagesh lene. In the tav? Dagesh forte. Great. When I add the article the, I put what? What consonant? Hey, vowel, pathak, and a dagesh forte. So now I have the what looks like the same dot, but it's no longer dagesh lene, right? It's a dagesh forte. Vowel before it, dot still there. That's a strong dagesh. It doesn't get blown away. So habatim, habatim. Okay. Any other questions about this? How many of you have studied Greek? How many forms of the article are there in Greek? 24. In Hebrew? 3 or 4, right? So we've simplified things. Hebrew is the easy language. Maybe. All right. Let's take a look at your translation homework here. And we actually have time to read these out loud together. And that'll be fun, huh? Get rid of all this extra marking. Okay, so let's take a look at number 1. Repeat after me. Yashav ha'am ba'aretz.
Yashav ha'am ba'aretz.
Excellent. So, is yashav a noun or a verb?
Verb.
Verb. Verb first, huh? Might this be a subject noun? Yeah, that's typically where my subject would go when I have my verb first, right? So how would I translate yashav ha'am? The people sat or dwelled. And now I have a prepositional phrase here, right? Ba'aretz. Ba'aretz. Now, what is this? What's the object of the preposition? How do you translate that? It's land, right? Is it in a or in the land? The? Are you sure?
Yes.
What is your signal that this is the land and not a land? The kamet's where?
Under the preposition.
Under the preposition bet? Okay. Why? What were you expecting to be there? A vocal shava should normally be under the bet if there is no article, right? But I have a kametz. Where's that kametz coming from? Yes. Are you saying that the form of the article was ha, like that?
Yes.
So it was b, ha, aretz? And why is the hey missing? Yes. Yes. Bet ate a hay sandwich here, right? And then took over its vowel, which is what we have here. What's the other tip-off or clue that this is a definite form of eretz? There's a little hint for you.
Oh.
Eretz. Yeah, it's aretz. Remember, the vowel under root 1 of the noun changes its form when it's articular, when it has an article, right? So there's really 2 things that are tipping us off that there's an article hiding in here. So I need to translate this as in the land. So the nation or people lived or dwelt or sat in the land. All right, good. Any questions about what you see here? Even though there's not a dagesh forte in the ayin right here on ha'am, can you still tell that that's the article? Yeah. That's not hard to tell as long as you know that the noun is am, right? If you don't know the noun is am, you might think, oh, well, maybe ha'am is the noun, right? And if you think the noun is ha'am, then you might not see an article here. So you have to learn your vocab words, and if you know am is the noun, then the prefix hey must be the article. Okay? So we're not going to see a dagesh forte though in that ayin. It's a gutter. Let's look at number 2 and let's read it together. Ready? Hanashim po.
Hanashim bo.
Ha'anashim bagan.
Hanashim bagan.
Okay, so hanashim is what? Men or women? Are you sure?
Yes.
Men are longer.
Yes, men are longer. Okay, so it's women. What's this ha here? Yes, it's the women. Very good. And what are we saying about the women here? Yeah. Is there a verb? Is there a verb anywhere in this number 2? No. So we have to supply something that's null or missing here between hanashim and po, right? Yeah. So the women are po here. Ha'anashim is the men. And again, me Tarzan, you Jane, right? And the men are in the garden, or in a garden. Which is it? Yeah. How can you tell the is missing?
Because
The pathak and the doubling dot. There you go. That's your big clue there. All right. Let's see. Let me go back here. I'm going to erase this. And tell me, is the dagesh here in the noon a dagesh lene or forte? How do you know that cannot be a dagesh lene? Well, it would have, without even thinking about the vowel before it, what's another reason that you can tell me for sure this is not a dagesh forte, a dagesh lene?
Because it's not a begat.
Because noon is not a begad kafat letter, right? And dagesh lenes can only go in begad kafat letters. So if it's not in a begad kafat letter, it must be a dagesh forte, right? All right, and it just so happens that there is a vowel sound before it, and it is still there too, right? Because dagesh fortes always have a vowel before them. You should never see a dagesh forte without a vowel before it. Never, ever, ever, ever. All right. And then looking at bagan over here, is the dagesh in the beit a lene or a forte right here? Okay. You're sure about that? That's a begad kafat letter? And they come standard with begad, the dagesh lene, right? No vowel sound before? What about the gimel? Dagesh forte? But that's a begad kafat letter.
Preceded by a vowel.
Ah, but there's a vowel before. Must be a forte then. Okay, good. Any questions about these? Okay, let's read number 3, everybody. Nathan HaMelech
Nathan HaMelech
He'arim LaGibor.
He'arim LaGibor.
So, is that a noun or a verb here, beginning of number 3?
Verb.
Verb. Then I might have a subject over here. Is that a noun?
Yes.
Ah, could that be the subject of that verb? Yes. So how will we translate that?
The king.
The king gave. What did he give? He'arim is the cities. That doesn't look like the article hey, does it? Yeah, it does. It's just a slightly modified form, right? Notice, by the way, that I have the method here. Where's the tone? Tonics way here in the back, right? That's pre-tonic, and this is pro-protonic. The method preserves the pronunciations, keeps you from reducing it to a shava. Okay, so he'arim. And then la gabor is what?
To the warrior.
To the warrior, not to a warrior? Nope. You see the legs of the article hanging out of the mouth of the lamed here, right? Chomp, chomp, chomp. He swallowed it up, but left its pathak and doubling dot. So what kind of dagesh is in the gimel? Dagesh forte. What kind of dagesh is in the beit? It's a dagesh forte as well. Both of them have vowels before them, right? And the dageshes are still present. What kind of dagesh is in the maim? A dagesh forte, right? Because articles are supposed to have dagesh forte here, and there's that vowel before it, and that's not a begat kafat letter. What kind of shava is in the kaf? How do you know that? At the end of the word. At the end of the word, your shavas are silent. All right, any questions about number 3? All right, number 4, we have halach ha'ish, everyone?
Halach ha'ish.
El hasadeh.
El Hasadeh.
How will I translate halach ha'ish? He walked the man?
The man walked.
Ah, is this my subject?
Yes.
Yes. I've got a verb for he walked, but I've got a singular subject that is explicit, so it's the man walked. You're sure this is the man?
Yes.
If I had had just halach ish, how would I translate that? A man walked. Halach ha'ish, the man walked. Okay? Great. And then I have el hasadeh. How would you translate that? To the, what's sadeh? Field. That's right, to the field. There is my preposition, and then the article with its dagesh forte, right? Hasadeh, hasadeh. All right. By the way, does anybody know what gender sadeh is? It's masculine. It's masculine. So it's just an accident that the man happens to be walking to the field, right? A woman could walk to the field, and it would still be a masculine now. All right, good. What kind of a dagesh is in the scene? Yep, dagesh forte. Is this a metheg right here? Are you sure that's not a metheg?
Yes.
What is that called?
Salute.
Salute. Very good. What about this little thing over here? We didn't talk about this when we looked at number 2, but what is that? That's an athnak, and that is a what? It's a disjunctive accent mark. And Paul and I were talking about this today. But what are the 2 accent marks that we've learned now? Saluk, which is an accent, right? And athnak, which is an accent mark. And if you can think of it in terms of generals, like in the military, at the very top of the food chain, you've got a general, right? And then you were military, right? Were you in the Army?
Yes.
Okay, so what's right under a general?
A general?
Yeah.
It would be a lieutenant, a full bird. A general would be a full bird, colonel.
A colonel. Okay, great. So you've got generals and then colonels, and then lieutenants?
Lieutenant colonel.
Lieutenant colonel?
Right, then major, and captain, then.
You know this, Lester?
Just by playing Game of the Generals.
Okay, very good. All right, so you've got this hierarchy of rulers, right, or leaders. And with the Masoretic accents, there's a kind of hierarchy here as well. So if I am going to look at Hebrew text, for example, in the Hebrew Bible, let's say I have verse 1, Hebrew text. At the end of the verse, the last word's going to have a saluk in it, right? And then verse 2, a string of Hebrew text. End of the verse, there's my, what's that, the double diamond or double dot called? Sof pasuk, right? So the sof pasuk is the strongest disjunctive accent, which creates the greatest or largest units of division within the Hebrew text as we segment it. So the saluk is kind of like the general among the accent marks, and it creates the biggest break from one verse to the next, right? Verse 3 starts. And what it's telling you is that the word that the saluk is on is to be read with what precedes, and the next word will always go with what follows. Same thing here, right? The word that has the saluk on it at the end of verse 1 goes with what precedes, and the next word in verse 2 goes with what follows. So we're creating huge divisions here, right? And the saluk is marking that. But within each verse, I can have a second level general or a captain? Colonel. Colonel, and that's called the athnak. So the athnak is going to subdivide the realm, as it were, of the saluk. So the saluk's realm is the whole verse. The athnak's realm is the first half of the verse, as it were. Okay? And so athnaks will subdivide the saluk. And then we're gonna learn a few other disjunctive accents that might occur between the beginning of the verse and the athnak. Okay? And so what the athnak is doing is, again, whatever the word is that the athnak is on, there's a break here, and the word with the athnak is to be read with what precedes, and the next word is to be read with what follows. Okay? So to go back to this situation, let's just think about the accents here for a moment. Just get rid of all this scribbling here. Look at, there's only a few places where we have the athnak. So here is the athnak with po. That means I need to read the po with hanashim. And I need to read ha-anashim with what comes after it. Okay, so how did we translate verse 2? The women are here. End of thought unit. Ha-anashim bagan. The men are in the garden. What this strong disjunctive accent's doing here is it's trying to signal to you, don't try to read the men with the prior word, right? The po-ness, the nearness, the here-ness, has nothing to do with the men. They're out there in the garden. It's the women that are po. Okay? And if you, let's see, well, I guess this is really the only place that we have an athnak. So if we go back to chapter 5, and we look at the place where we met. Ooh, I think it must be here. Here it is. We have a couple of athnak situations. Here in number 1, we have a fo habain. Does anybody remember what that means?
Where is the sun?
Where is the sun? There's my athnak, and that means habain goes with a fo, and who goes with babayat. Okay, so there's a kind of break in units from here to here. So where is the sun? He is in the house, right? Read he as going with babayat. Over here, this was in the number 4, right? We had our athnak right here. So we want to read Yahweh with what precedes, and then the me goes with what comes after, right? So mi tzaddik, tzaddik Adonai. How do we translate that? Who is righteous? Righteous is Adonai. And then take this me as going with the next set of words, right? Who is evil? Evil is man. Okay? So you see how that athnak is helping you here. Okay, good.
I have a question after this.
Yes.
So does that ethnic put all those first 4 words together like in one thought? Or just-
It doesn't necessarily, but it is telling you that for the most part these words are more closely associated together than with these words. Okay? But you might have accents that subdivide this, and so in real Hebrew you would probably have a disjunctive accent here to tell you to read that with this me, and then the tzaddik would go with Adonai, right? And that really is a subdivision within that, isn't it? Because this is the question, and these 2 words form the answer to the question. And then this is a new question, and the answer to that new question. Okay, good. Let's see. Any other questions here? I guess we didn't quite get to the last part here. Number 5. Let's read that. Shalom ba'ir.
Shalom ba'ir.
Ki Elohim sham.
Ki Elohim sham.
All right. Is there a verb anywhere in this set of words? No. That means I have to supply the verb to be, the copula, because we're using me, Tarzan, you, Jane syntax, right? So I'm going to add the is probably here. So how will I translate shalom ba'ir? Pieces in, not a city?
No.
How do you know? It's the city, in the city. Ah, that's right. I got a kametz here. No vocal shiva. That's the article's vowel, right? So peace is in the city. Now, key could be translated as that. Would I want to translate it as that right here? No, I don't. I want to translate key as that if I have a verb out here in the front that is something like I know, I believe, I hear, I think, right? But there's not even a verb here. So this is not telling you the content of some mental process or visual thing. It's giving you the reason for the state of affairs, perhaps the reason, right? So how would we translate it? Because Elohim Sham, God is there. It is possible that this could be when, right? But usually when it means when, the key is in the front. That doesn't have to be the case, but that's frequently the case. So I would have taken when if you had written it that way, but I'd go with the causal idea. Peace is in the city because God is there. All right? So, are we all good? All right.